spending the day building Easter baskets.
We want to still provide some sense of normalcy for the kids during this time.
We're so thankful for all of our generous donations.
Well, we've got some household items for our parents that live with the Budget Suites through our Project Hope program.
These are all the baskets that we've completed. Today, I'm so grateful for the volunteers.
Why not get out and share what I have? I have so much time to give.
It makes a big difference to them to feel like someone's still out there for them.
One mom just told me that my freezer was empty and I really didn't know what we were going to eat today, but I knew that Rainbow Days was coming.
I actually miss all my friends and Rainbow Days.
Everything that's going on these days, it's just nice to know that someone cares about them and loves them.
In addition to food, Rainbow Days is committed to meeting the children's social and emotional health needs during this time. Welcome to the virtual Rainbow Days 2020 Pot of Gold event. We want to hear from you today. Please make sure to comment and engage with us and tell your friends to join now.
Hello, and thank you for joining us today. As chairs for the 2020 Pot of Gold Luncheon, we miss being with you all in person, but we are happy to come together in spirit, virtually. Rainbow Days creates meaningful connections with children in high-risk situations to help develop the social and emotional skills they need to build positive futures. And given the recent circumstances surrounding the COVID-19 crisis, so many children are in danger of the toxic stress Rainbow Days strives to combat.
Stress during this time could be brought on by so many factors, like lack of food, worries of falling behind in school, isolation, anxiety, as well as unsafe and unhappy homes due to substance abuse or other types of abuse. Through this time and beyond, Rainbow Days is here for these children with coping skills and support. Tara and I invite you to join Rainbow Days and help children rise by donating today.
It is our pleasure to introduce today's MC, Victoria Snee.
Thank you so much, Tara and Tom. Hi, everyone. I am thrilled to be supporting Rainbow Days today with you. There are so many great ways to give and get involved. First of all, we want to tell everyone, tell a friend right now, join in the fun. Text your friends, your family, ask them to tune in right now. Click the share button on Facebook, engage with us on our social channels. Let's spread the word and the message of Rainbow Days. And while you have those phones out, which we always do, why don't you go ahead and make your donation by text? Just follow the instructions on the screen. Not only will we be learning more about and celebrating Rainbow Days this afternoon, but we have fabulous auction items up for grabs. Make sure to check out the full list of items by visiting the auction site. Rainbow Days has a goal of raising $50,000 during today's program. Your generosity will directly impact Dallas children in need. Of course, we'd like to thank our sponsors for their continued support, including our presenting sponsor, Nancy Ann and Ray Hunt. We also like to thank our dedicated board members and our staff. And we also want to thank Real News PR. Thank you so much for your generosity in donating these beautiful studios and the production time. Let's take a look at a video showcasing the very impactful work that Rainbow Days does.
For nearly 40 years, Rainbow Days has been creating meaningful connections with children in high-risk situations to help develop the social and emotional skills they need to build positive futures.
Most of the children I serve come from neighborhoods that are impoverished, I have a lot of kids that are afraid of what's been happening in their homes at night, physical and mental abuse, domestic violence.
There is a high crime rate, family dysfunction. They've been involved with CPS or single parent families that have had issues just becoming stable.
They know they're not supposed to talk about what's going on at home, but it is bothering them when they're at school. When you're dealing with kids that have been through a lot of trauma, they start to think, this is just my life, and my life is always going to be traumatic.
And for us to be able to paint a different picture, that this is not the norm, and we don't want this to be the norm for you. We want you to rise above this.
We go to the schools and we teach our curriculum, and we teach them how to make healthy choices. We teach them how to control their emotions.
The reason Rainbow Days is unique, and it's not just about the curriculum, it's also your facilitators. You know, we are the kids that we're working with. We've been through what they've been through. I grew up in the same environment you grew up in, and I didn't use drugs. I didn't use alcohol. I didn't have to become my environment.
Rainbow Days personalizes the curriculum so that it fits the culture of our school.
A lot of the kids that I talk to only speak Spanish. So for them, being able to come and do group with someone that speaks Spanish, it changes their world. We see it in their face.
And they are so excited about them when they come. Usually they don't get excited about anything except playing video games.
At first, the kids were like, oh, are we really talking about this? As we start to meet, the more they start loosening up.
They don't feel threatened. They have a comfort level to open up and participate.
They almost can't wait for that group time. They're finding out, okay, I'm not alone. After you've talked about, personal things that have happened to you, it builds a lasting friendship. And it's life-changing.
I want the children to know that they can change their path in life.
We don't come in with a victim mentality. We come in with a we can do it mentality.
Yes, you're going to have disappointments. Yes, you're going to have setbacks, but you don't stop. This program is helping them to be brave. They're breaking that cycle.
That they don't have to destroy themselves. They can live.
Children that know that they matter are going to contribute back to our society.
When I see brand new counselors and they're kind of struggling, I always tell them, call Rainbow Days.
We are the model. We've done this for a long time. We're in the business of curriculum development, and we're in the business of contributing to a better mental health for all children.
I wish that there was enough to cover every school in DISD because it's such a wonderful program.
If you have the opportunity, invest in Rainbow Days. Rainbow Days is helping our children, and our children are simply our future.
And those children, when they find out that somebody cares about them and that they are important just because of who they are, they succeed. And then we have a better country, have a better society, we have a better world.
Rainbow Days was founded to support the social and emotional well-being of children and youth who face adversity. Given the recent COVID-19 crisis, our mission is more relevant than ever. The stress that we are all feeling is weighing on our children. Domestic violence and abuse are on the rise. Food insecurity and unemployment are widespread. Children that consider school and after-school programming a safe space have been isolated and unserved. With all of the changes and anxieties in today's current climate, Rainbow Days is a critical lifeline to the children and families we serve. Since 1982, we are proud to have reached hundreds of thousands of children worldwide through our full-service organization. Rainbow Days created a data-driven, proven curriculum that is delivered through a peer-to-peer support group model. Our trained specialists implement our curriculum, facilitating and fostering relationships in the support groups. They serve as mentors, providing a safe space to high-risk children and youth. We also offer a nationally recognized training program that equips teachers, counselors, and other youth-serving professionals to replicate our curriculum and model in their own communities. 9 out of 10 children participating in Rainbow Days programs saw an increase in self-control, assertiveness, empathy, cooperation, and in their healthy non-use attitude toward alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs, as well as a decrease in conduct problems and rebelliousness. The children we serve have often experienced poverty and trauma, such as abuse, neglect, household mental illness, an incarcerated family member, and substance abuse. Our goal is to break this cycle. We want children to know that their current situation is not necessarily their future, and that through making healthy choices and the next right decision, they can rise out of their circumstances, weather the storm, and have rainbow days of hope ahead.
Working with Rainbow Days has been a great partnership. The stressors that these students are going through, the one thing that they're really not having is healthy communication with a caring adult. And that's kind of one of the biggest things that I do on this campus, but I have to bring partners that specialize in different situations that can also speak to these students.
What I love the most about my job is actually being there and working with the kids. I am a DISD student, so I know the difficulties, I know the struggles, and I know that when I was little growing up, I did not have people like me talk to me about my feelings or my emotions or the difficulties that children and youth go through on a daily basis.
I do look forward to seeing Maria's face every week. She's really positive and she makes me feel secure and protected.
It makes me feel like I have like a better support group because like outside of school, not many people like help me with the things I need. I feel like I can talk to her about anything that I need help with.
They need to learn how to cope with their stress. Bringing in Rainbow Days to give a healthy communication, give them healthy choices on how they can deal with their stress is the best way to do it.
There's so much that kids need, but I think one thing that they all need is someone who is willing to listen to them.
One day I was feeling like real sad, like I was like not in it, like I was crying and everything. And then she asked me, was I okay? Like if I needed to talk to her. It touched me because like not many people ask me, am I okay?
Miss Maria showed me that no matter what challenges I face, I could do it myself and I could go through it no matter what other people think about me.
My hope for each of these kids is that they come to realize that life is difficult, but it's within them to work through it and find better options to help them become successful.
She gave me the determination and courage to keep pushing. It gives me a lot of hope that I might have a big future, successful future than other people might stereotype me from.
I filled out approximately 7 college applications. I've gotten accepted to some, which I'm so happy about that.
I believe in my future and my purpose in life because of Miss Maria.
You know, a great way to show your support is by bidding on our auction items. Let's check out a few of those packages. You know, we're also very lucky to have a very special guest, former Dallas Cowboy Darren Woodson. I'm a huge Cowboys fan, so this is a real thrill. Hey, Darren.
Hi, Victoria, and hello to everyone out there. I'm honored to share my passion for Rainbow Days with you all today. Social and emotional health of our youth is a hot button issue. There is so much talk, but what about action? That is where Rainbow Days comes in. Rainbow Days staff and facilitators are all over the community, personally connecting and supporting Dallas children in schools, shelters, and beyond. And it's not only our youth they are helping, but they are also training and working closely with counselors, teachers, caseworkers, and others so that they have tools they need to help our children succeed as well. My favorite thing about Rainbow Days is that they provide a sense of community for the children. Through their support groups, the caring staff pours time, guidance, and life lessons into the kids. Children and youth learn that they are not alone and that they each have intrinsic value. They have increased confidence and set higher standards for themselves. Rainbow Days is a great organization, and I urge you to get involved, either by volunteering or by donating today. Now for a little bit about me. I grew up in the inner city, Phoenix, Arizona, in the projects, and I needed to figure out a way to get out. And that was going to college, and my ultimate dream was to play in the NFL. So what I did differently is I was disciplined. I had a really close friend, and it's still one of my best friends. His name's Keith Tucker. He and I were best friends growing up, and as kids, we grew up next door to each other. We both played sports, but one day he made a decision. He made a single decision that totally changed his life. As I was going on to football practice and a basketball practice, which Keith did with me every day of our lives, that one day he made the decision that he wanted to stop and make quick money by selling drugs. That one incident cost him 27 years of his life. He got into the drug game. He eventually shot and killed someone and did 27 years in prison. I went on to go to college, go on to play with the Dallas Cowboys, and have the career that I always dreamt about having. But it was one day that he made that decision. The reason why I didn't make that decision is because I had good people in my life. I had mentors. I had a mother who worked 2 jobs and did everything possible to keep us off the street. It's a blessing to be a mentor. To pour into a child's life means so much, because you never know what decisions they're going to make and what you're going to be able to say to them that could possibly change their lives. So for the mentors out there, continue to lead. Even though we are connecting virtually today, I wanted to find a way to connect with you in a personal way. So folks have been sending in questions for me through social media, and I'd like to make some time to answer some of these questions together today. Kyle, that's a great question. I'm not sure if I actually manage my schedule. My wife manages me, but at the same time, it's one of those things where my mother, growing up, I watched her work 2 jobs, and she always used to have this saying is, sleep is the cousin of death. Once my feet hit the ground, I feel like I need to be doing something. I have to accomplish something. My life has to have a purpose in it every single day, and I have to accomplish something. So for me to work with my real estate company, not only am I getting up, being active, but I'm also helping those who are in need within my office, who have family members. I feel like it's a part of me to be a leader, not only in my office, but also in the community. And for my community part, the things that I do with Rainbow Days, a United Way, I feel like it's a part of me. I feel like I need to give back as much as I possibly can while I have this time on earth. Life is about decisions that you make, 1. 2, it's about being disciplined in what you want to get accomplished. And if you have a goal, whatever goal that may be, write it down, make it your purpose, and do whatever it takes to achieve that goal. And I'm talking whatever it takes. Big excuse that I always hear from young kids is, I don't have enough time. Well, then make time. Get up early. If it's what you want, if it's your dream, don't let anyone or anything stop you. It's almost like that old Nike saying, just do it. Just do it. If it's what you want, you put that time in, because if you continue to do it, good things will happen. If you quit, nothing good happens from then. Then you have to start all over again. Continue to chop wood every day. Whatever the goal is, go for it and do what you need to do. Tom, I would say Jerry Rice was probably, there's 2. Jerry Rice, and then there was Randy Moss. And I was talking on Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice was the most disciplined wide receiver in the league. Everything looked the same. Slant route looked like a go route. A go route looked like a comeback. His body lean. He was a student of the game, studied the guys who were covering him. He was the Michael Jordan of football. back then. Randy Moss, on the other hand, you could have Randy Moss covered and he'd just go up and get the ball. I mean, you were at his mercy. He was the guy who started the Dez Bryant type of catches to go up, one-handed grabs, those type of big-time plays. He was a nightmare to deal with. And then another one, I'll tell you this. I played with one of the best every day, practiced with him every single day, and that was Michael Irvin. Michael Irvin was as competitive, as hard charging, the hardest working man I've ever been around. And his greatness showed every day at practice. The quarterback I hated to face the most was Brett Favre. His tenacity and his will and want. He was never out of a game. You could be up by 21 points and Brett Favre would figure out a way to get back in the game. He just had this knack of leadership, rallying his own troops. And when you saw him playing on the other side of you, half the time he was smiling because he knew in his mind he was coming after you. But the one thing I loved about Brett Favre, even though we competed against each other in championship games, NFC championship games, the one thing I always loved about him is that he loved the game. He was a kid that just enjoyed the moment and was one of the greatest competitors, and he just made the game that much funner. My favorite Cowboy memory was in 1992. I was 22 years old. I was a rookie, and we had just won the Super Bowl. And we go into the locker room, and I'm celebrating. And I remember two guys on the ground, a guy named Mark Tuanay and Bill Bates. And they were on the ground, and they were crying. They weren't celebrating. They were crying. Had a trainer who had been with the organization for 30-some years, through the Tom Landry years. And he grabbed me, he said, "You understand why they're on the ground crying?" And I said, "No." Why? And he said, "Because these guys went through and were coached by the great Tom Landry, saw him get fired, went through a 3-15 season, went through a 1-15 season. Jimmy Johnson came in, fired and cut guys that were their friends. And he just rattled off all these things. And it just gave me this feeling of, man, this is my first year. They went through all this turmoil, all this ups and downs, and they stuck to it. And here they are at the finished product. And these guys had been in the league at the time 10, 12 years and finally got to their ultimate goal. So that's the memory I'll forever. And that's the reason why I feel like the 92 ring is the most special ring, is because of that incident that took place after the game. Well, academically, I graduated in 3 years. I made it a priority to get my diploma. Well, I didn't. My mom was going to kick my butt if I didn't. So I ended up getting my degree early. And that was a hard challenge for me to overcome. Coming out of high school, I just wasn't a good student. I finally get into college and I had to go to tutors. I had to figure out things as far as, I felt like I was behind because I didn't take high school serious enough. And I had to work my butt off. I really did. I had to work my butt off. I had to go to summer school and do all the little things it took to be academically sound. And the goal was to get my degree in a hurry. So as you can imagine, I was fully loaded with classes, both during the school year and in the summer. That was one of the hardest things I ever did. Much harder than football. Academics was a tougher road for me to follow. They should think of a leader. I think I wanted to lead young men. And I knew that the importance of having a mentor and what that meant to me as far as Lovie Smith, as far as with what Mike Zimmer, who was one of our position coach with the Dallas Cowboys, and Dave Campbell, what they meant to me as far as their leadership. And for me to come in as a rookie and see that and see people pull me up, I just felt like it was my job. It was my duty to pull those young men that were coming in after me, that were, possibly going to make mistakes and hit potholes. And, so my job as for 12 of my 13 years was the captain of that Dallas Cowboys defenses, was to lead young men on and off the field. So if there's one thing I would say, leadership, and I'd say versatility as a football player. I played multiple positions on the field. Together, we can make a difference in kids' lives. Investing in a child's life today can literally change their future trajectory. Please give what you can so we can reach our $50,000 goal today. It only takes a minute to text your donation. These funds directly impact children in our community. Thank you for joining me and supporting Rainbow Days. Now back to you, Victoria.
Thanks so much, Darren. Thank you all so much for joining us today and for supporting Rainbow Days. Please donate now to push us over the top to raise $50,000 today for children and youth in our community. And remember to check out our fabulous auction items. Don't miss out. You can visit the auction website to view the full list of packages. Thank you again to our sponsors and donors. You are truly helping kids rise and assuring our children that they have Rainbow Days ahead.
That was so cool.